People are very, very angry if you try to give a message of hope. That's me, isn't it? That's me and the emissaries, because their first message is a message of great hope about the Great Awakening. Hello, you gorgeous actors and lady actors in this world, which is a stage, is it not? Today I'm going to talk about Hopium, and I'm going to talk about hope. And I hope that we can find the difference between the two. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So a couple of weeks back, I felt absolutely weird as hell. I felt emotionally, physically and energetically outside of my body. I felt I couldn't process right. I felt dizzy. I felt weird, just weird. And I wasn't sure what was going on. Let me tell you what happened to me. So our dog was poorly, right? Douglas, our dog. And so my wife took him out for a walk in the morning with the other dog, and he didn't want to walk. And so she called me and she said, will you come and pick us up in the car and bring the dog back? Which I did. So I went there and brought her back. Later on the day, she said, well, you know, when you came and picked me up this morning. And I looked at her and I said, I did what? I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember going to do it. I knew vaguely that at some point I'd done it, but for me it was a long time ago, and it was like a faded memory. And I thought, what the bloody hell is that about? You know, is it early Alzheimer's? No. So I asked the emissaries anyway. I said to them, you know, I'm really, really feeling weird. The last time I felt like this was when they first came to me and they were doing these really big downloads. And they said, yeah. They said, it's understandable that you feel like that, and it's understandable that anybody else might be feeling like that, because, and these were their words, we are moving into climactic energies. That's what they said to me. Climactic. Big ones. And hence the fact that I was feeling very weird. I don't normally I'm pretty good. I'm pretty solid. You know, I'm a Virgo, I'm an earth sign, so I'm connected. But I was out of body. I was like an air sign. That's what I felt like. Bit of an air sign. And it was just after that I started. Can you remember the message that the emissaries gave us about the fact that we're moving into times that are designed to create division because we're in the split? And they said, be very careful because the energy is in one of division. Don't let it allow you to divide yourself from your group. You know, we've got to stay in our pack. We've got to stay together. And so we've got to be careful. Well, very shortly after that, wow, did I see, and I don't know what you think or whether you saw this, did I see an awful lot of hate, an awful lot of anger that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. And I'm not talking about from the other side, from our side. Suddenly I just saw this wave of people being very angry. And let me tell you where I see them being very angry. People are very, very angry if you try to give a message of hope. That's me buggered, isn't it? That's me and the emissaries buggered, because their first message is a message of great hope about the Great Awakening. And so, and what I'm saying is this. People have been so wounded. This is what the emissary said to me. It's normal. People have been so wounded by the messages, what's called Hopium. And I've seen people talking about this. This is Hopium. It's Hopium. And the emissary said, this makes your job difficult, because they said there's a very fine line between Hopium and hope. Right? Hopium is offering something that ain't going to happen. Something that titillates. Hopium is a titillator. It titillates people. Hopium tends to be attached to time frames, and it also tends to be very rigid in what it professes. Hopium. So in October, we're going to see this. Okay? That's Hopium. the issue is we've had a fucking ton of that, have we not? We've had loads, and I've sucked up a load of hopium as well in the past. You know, I've had my fingers burned, and I've pulled away from hopium. I'm not interested in hopium. Why? Because when you see it failing once, and you see it failing twice, and you see it failing 3 times, then you know that's not true. That's not true. Of course, they'll excuse themselves with hopium, and they'll say, well, what we said it was going to be in October, but hey, you know, it could be, like the Q posts, fantastic, it could be next October. It could be October in 3 years' time. Like, why bother giving the month October? If then you're going to say, well, maybe, I don't know which year it's going to be, but it's going to be in October. This is not good. This doesn't help anybody. In fact, it helps nobody who's actually got a message of hope. The emissary said this. They said about this fine line between hopium and hope. They said that there is only one thing that's certain. And that certain thing is that the Great Awakening is happening. That is, you can take that to the bank. That's a definite. And anybody, you know, I've been awake now for God knows, getting up for 20 years or whatever. I know definitively that the Great Awakening is happening. From where I was to where we are now, there is no comparison. It's enormous. Half of the world is talking about conspiracies. Half of the world. They are everywhere. That can't be denied. That's what the emissary said. The Great Awakening can't be denied. Everything else, these were their words, everything else is open to interpretation. Everything else in terms of timing, how it's going to play out, all of that is open to interpretation. And it's open also to our own creation of what that's going to be. I'll give you an example that's just come to me. Give a child a piece of plasticine and they're going to play with it. What you know is that that's a piece of plasticine. What you do know is that the child is going to do something with it. But what you don't know is what it's going to end up being. The child will make something with it, but you don't know what it's going to be. That is exactly the difference between hope and hopium. Hope is, we're in the Great Awakening, something good is going to happen. Hopium is, he's going to make a monkey. He's going to make a monkey with a tail that's playing a banjo and wearing a hat. And then he makes a seal. And you go, what about the fucking monkey? And they go, that'll be the next thing. What it is, the seal is identifying as a monkey with a hat playing a banjo. That's hopium. The other thing that the emissary said is that we've got to understand that the baddies need to hijack the Great Awakening. That's their system. Is that they can't stop it from happening. It's in the stars. It's written. The only thing they can do is hijack it and make it theirs, which the emissaries then said in brackets, which they will never do because it's not theirs. They can't make it theirs, but they can do a bloody good job trying. And then take a lot of people with them. And so they said, the emissary said, for those who give hopium, understand that it does more damage than good. And they said, generally, the people who give it have the best of intentions. Hopium people are people pleasers. They're people pleasers. The world's filled with them. I used to be one. Which is, I'm going to tell you what I think that you would like to hear now. I know that you could end up with buyer's remorse. I know that it may not happen. But at least for now, this is how people pleasers' minds work. At least for now, you're happy with me. And then, of course, time passes and then people get really, really annoyed. And they say, but you lied to me. Well, I didn't lie. I was just telling you what was in the cards. I was just telling you what I could see in the crystal ball. It does a lot of damage. And so we should be very, very careful, all of us, about giving hopium, about setting dates, about telling people that this is absolutely certain. Nothing is certain. So this is what the emissaries finished with. They said, the most important message is this, that we understand that we are creators. And so, if we choose to deny hope. Not hopium, hope. Hope is something good's going to happen. This is all going to work out. If we choose to deny that, then we will deny it and we will create something else. All of us, every single one of us who has a soul who's connected to the divine. I'm not talking about all the other filler people. We, and I don't know how many we are, but we are powerful creators. And so we should, the emissary said, keep your eyes on the prize. Keep focusing on what you want. Don't think about what you don't want. What you think about is what you get. That's what happens when you're a creator. You're a creator, I'm a creator, all of us. Focus on what it is that you want. Get excited about the future, about it coming good. Laugh about it, cry about it, scream about it, sing about it, dance about it. Whatever you have to do to bring this fucking, this timeline into fruition, do it. But don't talk badly about it. Don't deny hope, because that will only delay it. Will it stop it? No. That's been definitively told to me. Whatever happens, this is written, but it could be delayed. The more that we mess around, getting upset with one another, fighting and accusing one another of being this, that and the other, instead of just focusing on what it is that we want. We all want the same thing. We all want the same thing. We want to be happy. We want to live our lives in peace, in health, with our families. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy being in this body. What's wrong with that? That's not hopium. That's just general normal. That's just, yes, what we expect. That's the whole point of being here. So let's focus on that. If you see somebody offering you hopium, well, just know that they just want to please you. That's all they want to do. Yes, there are some bad people who want to take your money off you, okay? But generally, and I'd say that like 99% of the people who offer hopium do it because they want to make you happy. But they just don't understand that. They can't help themselves. I've worked with people pleasers. They can't help themselves. They know that you're going to be angry afterwards, but it still doesn't matter. In the moment, they want to make you happy. But there is nothing hopium-esque about hope. Without it, we're hopeless. And I do not want to go through this life feeling hopeless. And my feeling is that you don't want to go through this life feeling hopeless. And so remember, sing about it, dance about it, laugh about it, cry about it, shout about it, and let's make it happen. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Tell me in the comments before you go, what are you hopeful about? What are you really hopeful about? What do you hope happens? I love you all. Bye-bye.